everyone. So welcome to the fresh video cast of My Emotions Matter. And I think we have all made mistakes in our life. We are all guilty of making mistakes. I remember me making a mistake a few years back. So I was not always as punctual as I am today. Like, there was a time when I used to be really bad at time management, and I had a meeting with someone who was very reputed, and I reached late. And the worst thing was that when I reached late, I got into the defensive mode. And rather than apologizing for being late, I started defending myself as to why I was late. So that really worsened the situation. And this is one mistake that I can think of. So I think we've all made mistakes. We are all human beings, and we all learn from our mistakes, and we become wiser after making mistakes. So that mistake that I did in my life was a turning point, because ever since that incident happened, I have become very punctual. So today we'll be talking about this. Today we'll be talking about making mistakes in a professional environment. And there's a little tweak that we have in the video of today. So we'll be playing a game with our beautiful guests. First of all, I'd like to welcome our guests. So we have Radip. So Radip is working and leading a team at Youth Thinkers Society. And the second guest that we have with us today is Niharika Mainali. So Niharika Didi is working as the executive director at Changing Stories Nepal. And I think both these people inspire me to become a better person. By the way, they have been leading a team so effectively and so efficiently. And today we'll be talking to them, and we'll be playing a small game with them to realize and see what happens when mistakes occur in a professional environment. So yeah, Niharika Di and Radip. So I have questions for both of you. So have you also made a mistake in a professional environment, or have you witnessed someone else making a mistake? And how did you deal with that situation where a mistake was made?
Okay. I have made a lot of mistakes myself. Um, as a subordinate, as a team member, even as a team leader, mistakes are inevitable जस्तो लाग्छ हैन लाइक कुनै न कुनै हिसाबमा कुनै न कुनै रेन्जमा कुनै न कुनै दिन त भइ नै हाल्छ के मिस्टेक चाहिँ अब कम्युनिकेसनको प्रब्लमले गर्दा होस् स्किल नपुगेर होस् हैन कुनै कुराको नलेज नपुगेर होस् केही न केही मिस्टेक भइहाल्छ and I have not been able to handle मैले गरेको mistakes very properly. त्यही अघि ठ्याक्कै तिमीले भने जस्तै म एकदमै डिफेन्स मोडमा गइहाल्छु लाइक ला हैन हैन मैले मिस्टेक गरे हैन or यो कारणले जस्टिफाई गर्नतिर लागिहाल्छु म चाहिँ but these days I'm getting better at it. Okay, I'm sorry. मन सिकिरहेको छु अहिले चाहिँ.
Thank you so much. So I think this is a very important question. I mean, निहारिका एकदमै भन्नुभएको एकदम रिफ्लेक्टिभ भयो मलाई चाहिँ हैन. डेफिनेटली मिस्टेक्स एकदमै इनेभिटेबल कुरा हो, हुनु पनि पर्छ भन्छ, किनकि मिस्टेक्स भयो भने चाहिँ आफ्नो लेभल थाहा हुन्छ अनि कहाँ जानुपर्छ भन्ने एउटा एनालाइसिस गर्ने चाहिँ अपर्च्युनिटी हुन्छ. सो डेफिनेटली मिस्टेक्स आर भेरी इम्पोर्टेन्ट. एन्ड म एउटा इन्डिभिजुअल, एउटा टिम लिडर, के भन्छ टिम मेम्बर, सबअर्डिनेट, एउटा एम्प्लोइको हिसाबले पनि धेरै नै मिस्टेक्स गरेको छु मैले. सो एउटा बिकमिङमा चाहिँ एभ्री सिङ्गल डे, एभ्री सिङ्गल मोमेन्टमा एउटा मिस्टेक्स भइरहेको हुन्छ. अनि एउटा ग्रोथ के प्याटर्न भएको छ भन्दा निहारिका दिदीले भन्नुभएको चाहिँ सुरु पहिला एकदम डिफेन्सिभ हुन्छ भने एक्सक्युज दिन्थेँ कि म चाहिँ भएको होइन, अनि जस्ट लाइक ट्राइङ टु बिट अराउन्ड द बुश. अनि सो मेरो सुपरभाइजरलाई थाहा हुन्छ यो कुरा चाहिँ होइन, यु जस्ट लाइक क्याजुअली लुक एट मेकिङ ओके टेल मी मोर स्टोरिज, टेल मी मोर एक्सक्युजेस भन्नुहुन्थ्यो. देन लेटर आई रियलाइज यसरी चाहिँ हुँदैन, मिस्टेक एक्सेप्ट गर्नुपर्छ, एक्सेप्ट गरेपछि मात्रै नै एड्याप्ट गर्न सकिन्छ भनेर रियलाइजिङ ओके आई हेभ डन अ मिस्टेक. अनि तर I will do my best to not repeat it and do my best to mitigate it. अबको सिचुएसनमा what the best scenario के छ त्यो चाहिँ म हेरेर गर्छु. तर मिस्टेक्स भएको हो भने चाहिँ that's how I confront my mistakes. अनि there are times when I make mistakes with my fellow colleagues पनि, मेरो अन्डरमा काम गर्ने साथीहरूसँग पनि म धेरै मिस्टेक गरेको छु. त्यसरी पनि I genuinely accepted in ways that मैले बिर्सेको होला, मैले भुलेको होला, मैले यो इन्टेन्सनली गरेको होइन, तर I made a mistake. I'm really sorry for that. अनि अब केही छ भने प्लिज लेट मी नो इफ आई मेड अ मिस्टेक, आई विल डु माई बेस्ट करेक्टेड भन्ने एउटा एटिट्युडको साथमा चाहिँ भयो भने मेबी द टिमको त्यो एक्सेप्टिङ अनि टु एन्ड फ्रो इमोसन्स अलिकति स्ट्रेन्ज हुन सक्छ.
I think from what both of you have said, the major reflection that I've gotten is that we all make mistakes, and we have all been through situations in life where we have gotten defensive after making mistakes. I think that awareness that you're being defensive, you're being in the defensive mood, I think that awareness itself helps, because when you realize that you're being defensive, you'll find out ways to accept your mistake gracefully. So yeah, let's move on to our game. So first of all, I'll one of you from Radip and Niharika will be taking and stepping into the shoes of a supervisor, and the other person will be stepping into the shoes of a subordinate, and I'll be giving you a situation. And for the first question, you'll only have 10 seconds to answer the question. So, guys, do not worry. I'll be setting the timer on my mobile phone. So, yeah, I'll be setting the timer on my mobile phone, and you will have to start answering within 10 seconds. The reason why this 10-second rule is there, because we want to gauge your immediate reaction to that situation. So, yeah, I hope you guys are comfortable with this. So yeah, so Niharika, what number would you like to choose from, 1 or 2?
Can Radip choose?
Okay.
I'm okay with both. Stay well. I'm giving you a chance to win.
Thank you so much. Thank you for that. So I think I'll take 2.
Okay, so if Radip takes 2, I think Radip will be the supervisor. Will take this step into a supervisor's shoes, and Niharika D will think from the perspective of a subordinate. And yeah, so let's begin the game, and I'll start giving you a case. So there's this situation. So Niharika D is dealing with an external client. For convenience, let's believe that that external client is Mahima Enterprises. So yeah, so the external client is Mahima Enterprises, and Niharika D is working with me, and Radip is the supervisor. And I am a very annoying client to work with, because I do not respect Niharika D's personal and professional boundaries. I'm texting her at 11 in the night, at 12 in the night, and then I'm expecting her to make reports immediately. So I call her at 12 in the night, and then I say her that I need a report by 8 a.m. tomorrow morning. And Niharika D is annoyed because she's working with a client like me. She's really annoyed because I am demanding very good services at cheaper prices. So Niharika D is like really annoyed and frustrated. But Niharika D knows that because I am an important client to her organization, there's nothing which can be done.
Yeah.
She signed up for working with me, and she has to work with me no matter how difficult it gets. So what happens is that it's a Friday night, and there's an office party going on. And Niharika D goes to that office party where I am also there. And Niharika D is really annoyed, and she gets a little drunk that day. And in the drunk mode, she actually starts complaining about me and how working with me has been so difficult in front of her colleague. But little did she realize that I am right behind her, and I've overheard all the conversation that she was having with a colleague, and I've listened to her, complaining about me. And later on, her colleague tells her that the client has listened to every complaint that you've made. So yeah, Niharika Di. Now, the question for you is, what would be your immediate reaction in this situation? Because you know that the client has heard everything that you stated, and the client could be like super angry right now. So yeah, what would be your immediate reaction in this situation? You have 10 seconds to think about it, and you will have to start answering. So the timer has begun. The timer has begun, guys.
I'm ready. At first, I would be super scared. किनभने प्रोफेसनल सेटिङमा आफ्नै क्लाइन्टको कुरा काटेर बसिरहेको छ आफ्नै अफिसको पार्टीमा भन्यो भने आई वुड बी स्केयर्ड सुरुमा चाहिँ बट देन इफ आई ह्याड सम टाइम टु थिङ्क अबाउट इट एन्ड रिफ्लेक्ट त्यो जुन अनोइड हुँदाखेरि रिसमा एङ्गरमा जुन कुराहरू निस्केको थियो होइन जुन सुन्यो उसले विच आई डेन्ट वान्ट महिमा टु हियर होइन जुन सुन्यो उसले I would take a step back and realize कि if somebody else had been talking like that about me, how would I feel? होइन अनि like it's not good to talk about somebody's behind their backs होइन कुरा गर्नु त्यसै राम्रो पनि होइन अनि स्पेसली प्रोफेसनल सेटिङमा त्यो भइसकेपछि नेक्स्ट स्टेप वुड बी टु एक्चुली गो एन्ड हेभ अ कन्भर्सेसन विथ यु अर महिमा talking about सुरुमा चाहिँ apologize, sincerely apologize कि I know I said that, I'm sorry, यस्तो यस्तो भयो मैले गर्नु नहुने थियो भनेर भन्ने and then maybe taking it a little further and be like किन मलाई म किन annoyed भएको थिएँ त मलाई किन रिस उठिरहेको थियो त Like I have my own boundaries. 11-12 बजे फोन गर्नुहुन्छ तपाईले मिल्दैन हैन लाइक म बिहान 9 to 6 त म अफिसमै त हुन्छु त्यो बेलासम्म किन नगरेर प्लिज लेट मी ह्याभ माई टाइम त्यो नभएको भएर चाहिँ म एकदमै अनोइड थिए एकदमै इरिटेटेड थिए बट आई शुड हेभ कन्फ्रन्टेड यु सुरुमै त्यसको बारेमा हैन बरु 11 बजे चाहिँ फोन नगर्नुस् 10 बजेपछि फोन आई शुड हेभ टोल्ड यु आई डिड नट से द्याट आई एम सरी त्यसले गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ अहिले म रिस निस्क्यो यसरी now let's try to put this behind us and work things out. I think that would be my step.
That is a very emotionally intelligent response to this entire situation. I think you've done a great job. Within just 1 second you started, and it was a very emotionally intelligent response. Now, yeah, I'll add my personal reflections to the situation in the later half of this video. So now let's move towards Radip. So I'll make the situation slightly more interesting and tweak it a little for Radip as well. So in this situation, I have heard Niharika these complaints about me, and I'm not satisfied. Like, even though Niharika Di has apologized to me and has said me everything, I'm still not, fine with it. I'm still very angry, and I decide to revoke the deal that we had. So I decide to cancel the deal that I had with Radip and Niharika Di's company. And I am a very important client because I was, contributing 30% of your revenues for next month. So I was financially, I was a very important client to you, Radip. And you have come to realize that I've cancelled the deal, and you've also come to know that the deal has been cancelled because I heard Niharika Di complaining about me. And you're the supervisor who's dealing with Niharika Di. So what would be your immediate reaction after you come to know that I have cancelled the deal? So I'll give you 10 seconds to reflect on it. You have to start answering within 10 seconds. So your time starts now.
Is it okay if I start now? I think I've got a pretty much good picture. So if I were in the position of a supervisor, the first thing I would do is write a very important email to Mahima, saying how she's important and how we should differentiate between the professional and personal life, and how the mistakes that she had to go through has been during the face of not the company as a whole, but then a person or a component of the entire person or of a company. So I would, try to convince her that she's an important client and we had made a mistake. Somebody of our company had made a mistake, but we are very ready to do our best to overcome it. The second thing I would do is I would go to Niharika and I would talk to her regarding the reasons why she is doing, why the reaction that came in the spur of the moment, what happened. Instead of actually accusing her, I would try to ask her and understand her emotions, because whatever she said were very genuine. They were not any made up things. So I would try to ask her what were the reasons why she had this eruption of emotions in such a professional setting. And then I would ask her if I had made a mistake, say in terms that she had complained about it priorhand, but I had ignored it before. Then I think that would be on my part. So I should have fostered a dialogue between Niharika and her client. And if she had not mentioned it priorhand, then I would try to create a safe space for my employees, so where they can share how their clients are doing and how they're being bothered by their clients' irritability. And then I would try to create a strict terms of reference with my clients in the forthcoming days of how we can ensure the mental and psychosocial well-being of both the clients as well as our employees. And this way, I would try to resolve the conflict. Nevertheless, I would suggest Niharika to keep things on the whole and understand the scenario when we are speaking. It was a mistake, but it was not an intentional mistake. But then, with proper caution, it could have been taken. It could have been avoided. Niharika is a very crucial part of the team. She has been helping us, and she has been living up to every irrational demands that have been put up by the client. But then still, the action that happened were unconventional. They were not welcome. So we might try to do our best to avoid these kind of situations in further days. I think that would be what I would do.
So I think that again was a very emotionally intelligent response as a supervisor from Radip, and I'm very impressed by whatever you guys have said. You guys are really emotionally intelligent, and you guys did say that you would react in this situation in a very emotionally intelligent way. Now, in this case, we cannot disagree that this was a blunder, because whenever an external client hears that there's a gossip that's been going on about him or her behind the back, it could be really offensive. So yeah, now I'll give you guys 1 minute to think. So I will have a whole 1 minute to think and think of ways of what you could have done to avoid this mistake in the first place. So because it's always better, because this is a blunder right here, because this has to do something with the external stakeholders. So we'd call this a blunder because this was not something really good. So what could have been done to avoid this blunder? I'll give you 1 minute to think, and yeah, then we'll go ahead. So yeah, the timer starts now. I think Niharika D is ready. Let's give a little time to Radip as well. And because he has 20 seconds to go, and then we'll start. Okay. So both Niharika D and both Radip are ready. I think they are ready within 40 seconds itself. That's great. So yeah. Now I think I'd like to begin from Radip. So Radip, what could you have done as a supervisor to avoid this mistake in the first place? To avoid like this situation from occurring?
Okay, thank you so much. So for me, I think instead of avoiding, I would try to avoid the main source of where this eruption of emotion is happening from. So I would go to a very bottom layer. So in this situation, I've analyzed that the major reason for why this happened is because of a feeling of discomfort, feeling of irritability for Niharika. And for me, like my major intention or my major focus would be to solve this feeling of discomfort. I have devised three plans. One is prevention, another solution, another relaxation. So for me, first prevention would be to clearly demarcate all the give and takes between a client and a company, so that there's no that we establish a very respectable professional boundary between the client and the company, so that our colleagues do not have to go through any of these unwanted scenarios. We would create a very strict guideline. Second thing is I would try to find a solution that if I find these kinds of things are happening, then I would have to establish a dialogue with my clients, so that we try to solve this problem as much as possible upon what are they wanting and why are they wanting and all of these things. So in a very healthy dialogue, in a very respectable manner, I would like to solve the issues. If all of these are not available, then I would try to relax. So one thing of how we can prevent eruption of emotion is like truly letting it go. So I would, in an office, I would start to create a very safe space for all of my employees to actually talk about how they're feeling about their clients and how can each other help, so that this safe space to establish a community, and community gives one person a sense of belonging, which through which one person can slowly release all these unwanted emotions and all unwanted energy, at the same time understand and seek and learn and share their experiences and how other colleagues are dealing with these kind of scenarios. In this way, I would try to answer that for feeling of discomfort, I would first try to prevent it through strict guidelines before this thing happens. If this thing happens, I would try to solve it by means of very healthy dialogues. And if everything does not work, and I feel that the client is very important, at the same time my colleagues, my well-being is very important, I would try to establish safe spaces for us to share and like try to adapt these kind of scenarios.
Okay, so now maybe we would like to look at how would Niharika D as a subordinate act in order to prevent this situation. So yeah, Niharika D, you can start.
I think my first response would be to talk to the client. When I was annoyed, जब राति phone आउँथ्यो, maybe the first step would be talking to the client herself and being like, sorry, this is my personal time. I don't work your time. I need this for myself. I would do that. if that didn't work, then I would actually go to my supervisor, and just मजाले tell them कि महिमा भन्ने क्लाइन्टले चाहिँ she demands धेरै longer working hours and तुरुन्तका तुरुन्तै impromptu reportsहरू माग्छ अनि मलाई घरमा गएर मिल्दैन हैन, what should I do भनेर चाहिँ सुपरभाइजरसँग म हेल्प लिन चाहन्थे के गरौँ त मैले भनेर, बिकज दे आर माई सुपरभाइजर फर अ रिजन हैन, दे आर देयर टु गाइड मी, मेन्टर मी एन्ड गिभ मी आइडियाज व्हेन आई रन आउट अफ देम हैन. सो देन आई वुड एक्चुअली गो एन्ड टक टु माई सुपरभाइजर. त्यो दुईटा भइसकेपछि चाहिँ त्यो त के अरे मजाले एक्सनेबल हुने भयो, तर आई वुड अल्सो अलवेज किप इन माइन्ड कि अफिसको स्पेसहरूमा चाहिँ एक त backbiting is never good thing to do. It's never recommended. तर पनि जब when you have a couple of drinks in you अनि धेरैजना मान्छेहरूको बिचमा छ and you are feeling एकदमै इमोसनल हैन, इरिटेसन एकदमै धेरै छ, अनोयन्स एकदमै छ भनेर थाहा हुँदाखेरि चाहिँ I would remind myself एक त not to drink too much, or two कि be very very aware of what I am talking and with whom, and be aware of what's happening in my surrounding, especially when I'm emotionally charged. त्यो बेला चाहिँ we tend to lose control of what we are saying and our actions. त्यो बेला त थाहा हुँदैन नि त, इमोसन्स हुन्छ नि, त्यो बेलामा especially it is even more necessary to be conscious and be aware of what's happening around you and what you are doing भनेर चाहिँ, yeah, I think that's what I would do.
So I think both of you have given wonderful answers as to what would you do to prevent this situation from occurring, and it was wonderful playing this game with you guys. So yeah, I'd like to add my personal reflections from whatever you have said. So I think one thing that I reflected on is importance of setting boundaries in the professional environment. So sometimes, mistakes can happen when you're not able to set clear boundaries, when you do not clearly embark those boundaries and then say what is acceptable, what is not. There's a likelihood of the mistakes to increase. So in order to prevent blunders from happening in the first place, maybe setting clear boundaries in a professional environment is very important. So yeah, what are your reflections after going through this activity? How did you feel after playing this game? So yeah, over to you.
Should I go, Radip? First, it's amazing to have this conversation with you guys. Mahima, I've known you. I've had this similar conversation with you. I think this is the first time we've talked like this with Radip and me. Between this was very interesting, and also getting to know how he, as a supervisor, would deal with these situations. I have to act like a supervisor and everything, and it was so interesting for me to actually think like a subordinate and be okay, as a subordinate मैले चाहिँ के गर्थेँ होला त भनेको मतलब it might be similar to what my subordinates that I'm now working with might be thinking. So त्यो साइडबाट हेर्दाखेरि चाहिँ it was very interesting for me. कति कुराहरू रियलाइज नगरेको कुराहरू पनि I was like, okay, so यस्तो पनि हुन सक्दो रहेछ. I should be there for them यस्तो बेलामा. This is when I should check up on them. हुन्छ नि, त्यो चेक इन कहिले गर्ने, के छ भनेर कहिले गर्ने, कामकोमा के कसो भनेर चाहिँ अलिकति नयाँ आइडियाजहरू चाहिँ आइरहेछ.
The same reflection, but मलाई चाहिँ के फिल भयो भने चाहिँ अहिले चाहिँ मैले when I was thinking about the possible के चाहिँ गर्ने, इन्टरभेन्सन कसरी गर्ने भनेर सोच्दाखेरि चाहिँ अहिले चाहिँ मेरो दिमागमा एकदमै एउटा त्यो एकदमै आइडियलिस्टिक सिचुएसन छ क्या. सो द्याट आई डोन्ट ह्याभ टु थिङ्क सो मच. मैले अरू के एलिमेन्टलाई चाहिँ मैले कन्सिडर गर्नै पर्दैन क्या. हुन्छ नि, एनी अदर थिङ्स म एकदमै त्यो न्युट्रल भएर सोच्न पाइरहेको छु. एन्ड आई थिङ्क दिस इज भेरी इम्पोर्टेन्ट एज वेल होइन. पछि गएर वेन रियल लाइफ सिनेरियोमा वेन आई एम सपोज टु मेक दिस काइन्ड अफ डिसिजन, त्यतिखेर नै मैले यो आइडियलिस्टिक सिचुएसनलाई हामीले एनालाइज गरेर कुनै पनि अरू सर्कमस्टान्सेस र अरू कन्सिडरेसनलाई हामीले ध्यानमा नदिएर गऱ्यो भने चाहिँ मेबी इट हेल्प्स अस अ लट. एन्ड इट अल्सो टेल्स मी, गिभ्स मी अ वार्निङ सिग्नल द्याट मैले अहिले चाहिँ प्रिभेन्सन गराएको, प्रिभेन्सन गर्ने बेला नै अहिले नै त हो नि होइन. राइट नाउ इज द राइट टाइम टु स्टार्ट प्रिभेन्टिङ दिस काइन्ड अफ कन्फ्लिक्ट बिट्विन क्लायन्ट्स एन्ड द कम्पनी एज अ होल. सो अहिले चाहिँ एउटा इमिडिएट इन्टरभेन्सनको लागि चाहिँ एउटा कल भएको छ. अनि वान थिङ द्याट्स भेरी इम्पोर्टेन्ट इज लाइक निहारिका दिदीले जसरी सोचेर भन्नुभयो, अनि द्याट मैले पनि एट द सेम टाइम म पनि अलिकति दिमागमा सोच्छु नि त, म पनि इफ आई वाज अल्सो दिस एन्ड हाउ वुड आई थिङ्क भनेर. द्याट गिभ्स मी अ डिफ्रेन्ट एज के. त्यो चाहिँ डिजाइन थिङ्किङको पर्सपेक्टिभबाट पनि मेरो साथीहरूले कस्तो सोच्नु हुँदो रहेछ इन केस लाइक दिस. उहाँले how do they look up to me जस्तै निहारिकाजीले भन्नुभएको जस्तै अब यदि यदि मभन्दा if एडभाइस काम नलाग्ने भयो तपाईँ त सुपरभाइज भएको त मतलब भन्नु नि त होइन so I'm also like constantly triggered कि reminded भनौँ न triggered भन्दा पनि I'm constantly reminded that okay I have to take in consideration of these things मैले सोच्नुपर्छ भनेर चाहिँ एकदमै नै हेल्पफुल भयो मलाई so this is like अहिले चाहिँ during this lockdown period when we are working for कति साढे 2 महिना त भइसक्यो 2 महिना भइसक्यो we are working like this होइन so things are pretty much different अहिले तै पनि यो कन्फ्लिक्ट चाहिँ यो मिस्टेक्सहरू भइरहेको हुन्छ होइन हाउ टु डिल विथ देम यो ब्लन्डर्स हुँदाखेरि र करेक्टेबल मिस्टेक्स हुँदाखेरिको चाहिँ यो डिफरेन्सेसमा चाहिँ एउटा सोच्ने अपर्च्युनिटी पाएँ आई एम रियली थ्याङ्कफुल फर द्याट आई ह्याड अ भेरी इन्ट्रोस्पेक्टिभ अपर्च्युनिटी पाएँ मैले थ्याङ्क यू सो मच
I think I am also very, very grateful to both of you for coming to this episode and for sharing your perspectives. So, for our audience as well, if you would like to know more about how can forgiveness, the element of forgiveness, be inculcated in an organization, and how can mistakes be dealt in the organization in a productive way, please do check our case study out. The link to the case study will be attached in the description box below. And alongside that, we also have a program called Emotionally Intelligent Mindset. So in this training program, we allow people to shift their focus from a blaming mindset to a mindset where we work collaboratively and look towards solutions than focusing on problems and then focusing on blaming each other. So if you would like to know more about our services, please feel free to reach out to us via our email, or you could even reach out to us via our social media. Until then, please stay safe, please stay protected, and please also reflect on like when did you make your mistake last time in a professional environment, and how did you deal with it, and what could you have done better to deal with that situation. Reflecting on such things can sometimes leave us with wonderful responses and make us a wiser person. And thank you so much, Radip and Niharika, for your time. Thanks a lot.